Welcome, welcome to all these beautiful attendees that are joining us on this fine Thursday morning, afternoon, depending upon where you are. Hello to those that don't know me. My name is Dave Goldie. I'm the Vice President of Sales at CloudRadial. And today we're talking about, hey, MSP, Microsoft 365 licensing issues got you down? I think it's an important topic. We got a lot of attendees that are joining us. Thank you for investing your time with us today. We're going to make it worth your while. I want to just do a quick introduction here. Jeff, why don't you do a quick intro and let everybody know who you are?
I'm Jeff Ferris, President and CEO of CloudRadial. Glad to be here today, along with one of our besties, Colin Knox. So here to talk about a lot of good things. We can just dive right into stuff, get through some of the preliminaries, because I know people want to get to Colin, but to get to Colin, you got to go through me. So just a little Jeff tax on everything that's going on. So we're going to start again, not only with our two great pictures on the front title slide, but we're going to spend some time just quickly. I think most of the people on the webinar are familiar with CloudRadial. I want to touch on just a couple of things, again, to just kind of reinforce, maybe you don't know or are still on the fence, not sure why, with CloudRadial. But basically what we are is a client services automation platform. And what we do is we bring everything together for the benefit of the client and for the MSP. So just like your PSA takes care of all the operational pieces of your MSP, CloudRadial is a CSA, a client services automation platform that takes care of all the engagement maturity pieces of it. So if you think about it as the restaurant, the PSA is your kitchen and the CSA is your waitstaff. And in doing that, what we're doing is we're bringing together lots of features, lots of functionality, lots of integrations to bring that together. Just like the PSA works best when it integrates with lots of tools, we work best when we work with lots of tools. So for those of you have never seen CloudRadial in action, certainly we'd encourage you to sign up for a demo at cloudradial.com/demo. But what you're going to present to your clients is a modern interface to your clients. We're going to become the face of your MSP in the daily lives of your clients with your brand, right? So it's a white label portal. It's going to be designed around your content, around your messaging, but it's really driving a day-to-day engagement with your clients that is just impossible without CloudRadial. So one of the things that is really interesting as we bring this together, and especially as we get into the gradient story just in a few minutes, is CloudRadial is integrating expertise. Not only are we integrating all of the tools, the tool sets, the data that you're already working with as an MSP, but we're continuing to seek out and integrate expertise. And it's not just the partner side or the CloudRadial side or integration partners, it's also your clients. And one of the key things about CloudRadial that differentiates it from anything else on the market today is our focus is driving collaboration between you and your clients to basically up that engagement maturity so you can solve bigger, more interesting problems and reap the rewards from that. The way that we see this playing out, and just touch on this briefly, we tend to touch on just about everything these days, is really helping the MSP capture the budget dollars of their end users. So if you think about it, there's three big buckets of budget. There's the managing technology, which is basically viewed as again, most of the security, most of the efficiencies that you bring in, whether it's warranties, whether it's endpoints, whether it's servers, cloud, most of that revolves around the technology that drives those businesses. The people aspect drives the real ROI. Again, that's usually the largest single expense for an organization. And anything that an MSP can do to basically bolster the efficiency of that team is huge. And lastly, once those things are in place, being able to discover and create the discussions and the environment so that an MSP can go in and focus on managing the outcomes and become a true CIO. But it really gets down to, all this sounds good, if you can be efficient. And if you can't be efficient, then that all those 3 buckets of budget, you're never going to get to, because you're always going to be dealing with the lowest common denominator of any single day, right? Have great plans. And we've all been there. We had these great plans where we're going to basically write the biggest novel, the best paper, the best website, and our PC won't boot, right? Now, all of a sudden, now we're not doing grand objectives. We're basically stuck at the lowest common denominator of failure. And so again, when you get into the MSP side, there's obviously a lot of places for failure to occur, a lot of places for problems. And the only way you can really reach those biggest aspirations with your team and with your clients is to drive real efficiencies. One of the things that's been a cornerstone of CloudRadial since when it was just a baby, if you will, is being that client data source. So not only are we bringing the data all together for in one spot, we're bringing that data together for the benefit of your clients, and again, for your own MSP. If you're in the product, we capture information from a lot of different sources, 365, all different kinds of stuff from 365, all different kinds of things from your PSA, everything else. We're bringing that together for your clients. All of that stuff is available via the download button. We're also doing this from the partner side. We're bringing together the Microsoft 365 and PSA together to reconcile that. We're bringing together inbound integration data, such as what we do with things like Breach Secure Now. We're also doing what I call synced integration partner, where we're basically collaborating on the data like we're doing with Smileback or SimpleSat. It's Crewwho's coming next. Lots of good things coming there where we're actually working together to pool the information that we collect and the information they collect. We're spitting that information out not only in data sets, but in things like the sales matrix, the secure scores. We pipe this data to Dropbox every night. There's so much stuff we're doing. And our goal this year is to open up even more of this data at the client level and at the MSP level, so we can make good use of that. And again, this ubiquitous download button that you'll see everywhere, we just want to see in more places, and we'd like to see more of it automated or API accessed, so we can again present the data that we're collecting and let you drive those efficiencies internally. So now what's interesting, so now we're setting the stage for Gradient, because again, one of the things that's fascinating with CloudRadial is we have tons of data, and getting the data out to where it's valuable and can actually solve real problems is a huge challenge. Not only is it a challenge for you to download the data or massage the data, but then it's really taken it the next step. And for things like billing reconciliation, we have a lot of reports you could use today for billing reconciliation, but it's manual, right? It's hard. And so what we're always looking for is ways to take that data, take it to the next level, make it easier. I'm going to turn it over to Colin here in just a second, just to kind of presage the announcement. If you're an existing CloudRadial user, be sure and go to radials.io/gradient setup. And in there, we'll walk you through how to set it up. You'll get a glimpse of what the Gradient does, especially with CloudRadial data. But there's so much more that Gradient does. But again, this will show you how to get set up there. And now I'm going to do a quick scene change here while I shift screens to bring up Colin's slides. And you'll notice too, Colin's graphic designer has a different style than the CloudRadial graphic designer. Just a little, like when they come back with the new slides, you're going to see a little different look. So
a little bit.
Colin, but while I'm teeing these slides up, anything you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, you talked about a lot of great stuff. We're really excited about the partnership with CloudRadial here. I love how you guys frame it as the CSA is all the server staff and wait staff, and the PSA is what's happening in the kitchen. And you know, when it comes to what products can do and what integrations can do and what you know, MSPs need, there's this never-ending list of jobs to be done, right? And it's a matter of being able to determine what is the most important job to be done, and that will give you the best outcome. And at first, I don't think, Jeff, you and I really thought of what the job to be done was going to be between CloudRadial and Gradient until a mutual partner kind of came in and started to peel back some layers of what they really wanted to see, what their, you know, their wish list and vision was of how the products could work together. So yeah, there's my big face up on screen now again. A little bit about me. So I've been in and around.
And wait, before I have to interject one quick. You're not
Yeah.
Photoshopping those arms, right? Those are your real arms, right?
No, those are my real arms. Those are the real arms.
All right.
It's the gun show.
All right.
COVID was very unfriendly for a while, and then it had to get very friendly.
Okay, I was just checking. I just had to ask. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
So see, I've been in, that was a loud clap. I've been in the MSP space now for 19 years, which is crazy. I must have started when I was 12, but maybe a little bit later than that. So been around, I've been in the shoes of the MSPs and everybody that's on the call today. So was able to grow my MSP to 4 million in revenue in just 5 years. Ended up scaling that. I wish we had a solution like CloudRadial back then. If you did exist, we just didn't know about you yet. But you know, we had a lot of challenges with a lot of the stuff you talked about there, especially as we started to hit scale. Did exit that business because I went over to what all you MSPs and what I used to refer to as the dark side, and decided to create a cybersecurity solution for the industry, which you might have heard of, called Passportal. Grew that up, exited that, worked with Enable for a while, and I've been very fortunate to make a lot of people really rich by my business ideas. So built up and amassed 9 figures of enterprise value. And the biggest way that I've done that is, again, focusing on the jobs to be done and the ones that are the most critical and the ones that people hate doing the most, because those are the ones that people are going to pay to solve. And that's really where we came from with Radiant. So we do a lot of things. There's a lot of components and different pieces to our business, but the big focus is on billing reconciliation right now. You know, I don't know if we have a hands up feature on the Zoom here, but of the however many people are in attendance, hands up if you love doing billing reconciliation every month. You love going into all of those, you know, partner portals, downloading all those CSVs, going through them, going cross-eyed, reviewing everything, hopping in your PSA, which, you know what, all great solutions, but I think they could use a little UX enhancement in there, but it takes forever to do, and you know that you're leaving stuff there. And, you know, when we look at where we are as an industry today, you know, you have all the research outfits and the Jay McBains of the world out there preaching about how fast this industry is growing. You know, I think his last number was $387 billion in resale revenue just from managed service providers globally. That's a massive number. And that's a massive amount of products and licenses and seats and units that you guys are reconciling, are trying to reconcile every single month. And when we look at all these macroeconomic conditions and the headwinds that are allegedly coming in and potential recessionary times, you better be damn sure that, one, you're billing your clients accurately for the client experience side of things, which we can talk about. And then 2, better make damn sure you're making and getting paid for all of the things that your clients are consuming from. Now, there's a million different products and solutions and stuff that we could integrate with and bring in and go, but you know, way that we've gone about it is to find ways and partners with companies like CloudRadial to solve a lot of those challenges with us. And so the integration that we've got with CloudRadial today handles what every single person on this call and every single MSP in the world that I'm aware of is reselling. And that's Microsoft 365. Now, when it comes to the billing stuff, we've taken a new look at it. So if you're doing your billing reconciliation through your PSA today, you've never had a way to visualize across all of the services that you offer. You can go contract by contract, you can go clients wide, stuff like that. But we give you now an ability on a single pane of glass to see all of the services that you're reselling across all the clients that you're reselling. And most importantly, be able to clue in and see where you're making money on things and where you're not, where things are growing, where things are declining. So while we've got this growing inventory of all these integrations that can automatically feed this consumption information into us, you know, there's I forget what the last statement was, 10,000 some channel vendors are vying for your business and being resold by MSPs. So what we have is this really awesome import system that you can just drag and drop any CSV from any vendor or supplier, and you just drop it into our system, do some quick, easy auto mapping of clients, and we'll deposit it in there. So you don't have to be going line by line comparing things. You don't have to get cross-eyed. You don't have to have a million different tabs open on one screen and your PSA on the other. We present it to you in an easy to use format. You bring that data in. You can see on the left side how much your PSA is set to be billing from a units wise. And on the right, what the vendor has told either through an integration or through the imports, what is actually being used by that client. Now, this is really awesome stuff. You can select multiple, you can do one at a time, approve them. You can adjust it if you know that there's a quick little change that needs to happen, or you wanted to give some licenses for free or what have you. But it just brings it all into one place. It instantly writes it back to your PSA once you've had that opportunity to audit and make sure that this is what it is and what you want to be billing, and take it back. So on the left side of the screen, you'll see, hey, new revenue's been found. You know, hands up if you've ever gone through this process and realized, oh shit, we haven't been billing for this MFA solution for the last 18 months for this client. And that's all of this money that just stacks up and adds up that you can never really go back. You know, we talk about client experience. You're going to go back and tell them that they owe you $6,000 for MFA licensing that you forgot to charge? Probably not. You talk about client experience on the right side of the screen, you see that the client's now using less seats of something than you're actually billing them for. In tough times and in any time, if they're doing their own reconciliation and looking, they're going to come back to you and say, you're charging us wrong. You've billed us for too many users. And now they're going to go back and check all of their past invoices. And I can bet you moving forward, they're going to do a very thorough review of your invoices moving forward to make sure that you're billing them the right amount. But beyond all of this, you're leaving tons of money on the table. I mean, we have partners on average, we're finding about $1,200 in MRR. So call it 15 grand in annual revenue that's being found in the first billing cycle alone. We have MSPs that are finding 100,000 plus in revenue that's not being billed. So yeah, we tie into 9 popular PSAs today. We allow you to do all the reconciliation across those PSAs, whichever one you use, bring it in. I think our CSV can support 100 to 200 different suppliers and vendors that we're aware of today, all in a seamless, easy to use experience. So pretty awesome stuff. You know, I think in general, we've seen some good success. We're over 850 partners now, most of which have come on in the last year. We've recovered over $7 million in revenue that hasn't been billed by those partners. We're reconciling far in excess of $2 billion in annual revenue for our partners now. And best of all, we're saving almost 8,000 hours every month for our partners who hate doing this task, this job that has to be done every month. And if you're not doing it, you either gave it to somebody that's lower level, and maybe you're still not super confident that it's being done right, but you just don't want to dig in, or you just don't do it because you hate doing it so much. So you just kind of cross your fingers and hope that there's been no changes. So, you know, we're super excited to have all of this stuff, you know, flying and happening. And CloudRadial solved a big request for us by doing the M365 stuff. It's a pain in the butt, whether you're dealing with a CSP, whether you're a direct, whether you're going through some other distribution avenue that, you know, it's all over the place and you can't get that usage the same way. Now with CloudRadial being able to monitor and see what all of the deployed licenses are and everything else, they're feeding that stuff direct into Gradient's platform. So every month now you just hop in and all the data is sitting there for you. You can select them all. You can select one at a time, pump it down to your PSA, and you always know that you're charging the right amount for all of your Microsoft licensing now every single month with, you know, the simplicity of the integration. I mean, it wasn't a simple integration, but the experience with it is. So yeah, super awesome stuff to have. I see some questions have come in.
I can help with that. We do have a couple of questions coming in. We might need a little bit of clarification. Just real quick, awesome stuff, guys. Thank you, Jeff, and thank you, Colin. To anybody that's here, please overpopulate the Q&A section with questions. We're going to try to get to as many of those as we can in the time that we have. We'll try to roll through a couple now. We might need some clarity, like if you could let us know if this is a question for Gradient or for CloudRadial or for both. Like one question from Joseph here is, any plans on the roadmap to integrate with Ninja One? So I have a question, is that CloudRadial or is that Gradient? But I think you boys can handle that.
Sounds like that's for CloudRadial, Joseph says.
So it's on the roadmap. I don't have an ETA. It'll probably realistically be next year because we've got so much to do. We've talked to the Ninja people. There is interest on both sides to do that integration. We just need time, right? And some developers. And so it's definitely on the roadmap. Again, there's several MS or PSAs we'd like to bring on board in the MSP channel and others. But Ninja's got a really strong offering. So
there's another question here. Does this work with Ingram? Richard asks. That's where my where we license their M365 licenses from.
So the answer is because we're providing that data, so we'll pull it from Office 365 directly, right? So whatever is provisioned in 365, our source of truth is Microsoft. And so if you license from Ingram, you're going to see it in your M365 portal, which means that we can see it, which means that we can send it to Ingram or to Gradient.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah. And for us, it doesn't matter where it comes from, whether it's Ingram, different CSP, direct, what have you. You know, CloudRadial's monitoring what's out there, what's deployed. They're ingesting that information. They just pop it to us. You know, if you are an Ingram partner and you get other things outside of M365, you are able to get a broad usage across all of your clients and everything that you resell through Ingram. And that CSV you can just drop into Gradient as well to reconcile the rest of the stuff there.
It's nice. Carrie said in there that Carrie is Ninja, and Carrie would be more than happy to assist in the integration conversation. So that's awesome. Officially, we have Synchro listed, but unofficially, Repair Shop uses the same API, I think. Pretty sure you guys integrate with Repair Shop, just the same, right? We're using Ninja for RMM, but Repair Shop for invoicing. So that might be for both you guys.
Yeah, we integrate with Repair Shopper already because the Synchro and Repair Shopper stuff is identical except for maybe the endpoints, I think. So, I mean, on the CloudRadial side, we do. Colin, do you know if you guys support Repair Shopper as well as Synchro?
So it's on the list. We know it's pretty much a copy paste integration, just different endpoints. So it's on the list. I'm not sure when that's slated for, but if you follow up with us, you can just email that question to howdy@meetgradient.com, then you'll get an auto reply with a bunch of stuff, but the team will definitely handle that question and get back to you today.
What about plans to integrate with CrowdStrike, Mr. Knox?
CrowdStrike. So I'm going to go type CrowdStrike right into our thing. So we don't have a direct integration with them today. If you are able to get a usage export from them, so if they give you a CSV through your partner portal, you can download, that would be importable. If there's a contact you have at CrowdStrike, make the introduction for us, right? Just do that, and our Tech Alliances team will run with it with CrowdStrike and see what we can figure out.
My sincere apologies that we're probably not going to be able to keep up with all the questions that are happening in chat. If you could please add those, just copy and paste them over to the Q&A section. We're going to go through and answer as many of those as we can live. And then just really quickly, it seems like a lot of these questions could be answered with a demo. So please look in the chat. If you're an existing CloudRadial partner and you want to know more information about CloudRadial, book a meeting with Jared, your partner account manager. I've got the link in there. If you have questions about Gradient, book directly with Gradient. I've got the link in there. If you're not a CloudRadial partner, book a demo with us. I've got the link in there, and by in there, in the chat, look at there. And I'll try to do my best to grab some of these questions out of the chat, but they're a lot easier in the Q&A section. Are there plans, and this is for both of you, to have the ability to export the CSV user reports for each Microsoft license? Right now, the CloudRadial export doesn't give as much information to the export as blah, 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 blah. Jeff, you can read that, you can answer it.
Well, I can try. So there is I believe, and I'll have to verify, but I think in their partner reports, there is an ability to download all the license counts across all of your clients that you have imported into CloudRadial. So that may be a part of it. You've got okay, so there may be some other issues there too. Again, as long as those things are on the feature list, then we know about them. Again, we're struggling with time and developers, but we are also meticulously tracking everything for the day when we have more time and more developers. So that is, again, we do see glimmers of that coming. So be sure and keep the feature request up there. I do want to comment a little bit, because I've been talking to a bunch of people outside of this conference today, is the idea of a composable business model. And what's interesting to me, and especially with what Gradient's doing and some of the direction that we're taking, is we know MSPs will not find a single tool to solve their problems. Microsoft's trying to get close on a number of fronts, but again, with all the other things that are done, there's still 50 things that an MSP is going to want to use to help solve the problems and challenges they're coming with. If it's not security today, it's going to be AI tools in the future, right? There's always going to be a mix of somewhere between 50 and probably 50 products that MSPs use to solve client problems. And so there's always going to be a need for billing reconciliation. There's always going to be a need to bring that data together. And I want to touch on the fact that, again, the problems that we're seeing today, again, with 365 licensing, and when I got the first demo of Gradient, my first reaction was, there, but by the grace of God, go our developers, right? Because integration's hard. 365 integration is hard. NCE is hard, right? All of these things are hard, and they're more than just, a developer can whip out over a weekend. And we're seeing that across the board in so many areas in this composable world that we're in. And so, anytime I think MSPs are looking for products, kind of the number one thing that you're looking for is, how composable is it? How does it compose with other products? How does it compose with my existing tool stack? And am I going to be assured that it's going to continually integrate with the new things that come up? And I just think it's super important for MSPs today to just again, we'd love to get down to one single stack. And I know Kaseya, ConnectWise, all the big players out there go like, hey, we'll have everything you need, just buy from us. It's never, ever going to happen. And it's always going to be a composable world. Microsoft's going to see to that. Google's going to see to that. OpenAI is going to see to that. And those are just the players today. I mean, again, every 5 years they change. The one thing I've got a question for Colin, because again, we've got clients that are, kind of working out of their house, one-man shops out of their house, all the way up to, top 25 MSP 501 type clients. Our CloudRadial customer base covers the gamut. And I'm curious, Colin, for you with Gradient, because again, billing reconciliation, where does an MSP really start feeling that pain? At what point in time, because again, an MSP, again, if they don't have their first client, they're not worried about billing reconciliation, or shouldn't be.
Not billing anybody yet. Yeah.
Right. So we've got some MSPs that might want to do that first anyway, but assuming that they have clients, where do you start seeing the real payoff from Gradient based on the size of staff or clients or revenue? What seems to be the drivers where you really see success?
I think once you've got a few clients, you're in that realm, right? And I think, I was on a live stream last night with the same kind of question. And it really varies on the type of value that you're looking for all the time, right? So we've got the same, spectrum of 1-person, 2-person shops up to tens of millions in revenue that use our platform. And I think what it comes down to is if you are a smaller shop and you're one to a few people, it's probably the CEO, the owner, the president, the top dog that's doing that work every month. And what's the value and price of your time compared to, somebody else? So in a bigger shop, they likely have an admin staff that's a lower hourly rate that's doing that work. So the actual cost of time is more valuable to the smaller shops than the bigger shops in most cases, just because of what the hourly rate is, what the value of your time is, outselling, supporting, dealing with other customers and clients versus doing this work, or the impact on your personal life, because we all hope to have at least some form of work-life balance. So does this mean that you're not spending time with your spouse, your partner, your children, because you're doing stuff in the evenings, on the weekends, doing whatever? So you may not have a massive dollar amount that you're missing out on as a smaller organization, but the time is extremely costly to you, and that frustration. As it gets bigger, I mean, it does really come down to, one, the time, because it's taking more hours of a lower cost employee maybe, but the complexity of the number of clients, the number of services they're reselling, the variability and dynamic consumption over time across all of those. And it's not, every single customer or client takes every single service from you. So it comes in there that, we've got partners who have found more than $500,000 in revenue that they hadn't even been billing for. And that's on an annual basis. That doesn't start to go back as how much did they miss out on over time. So you really start to see the benefit of that there. And just having that accurate, having that all pulled together, and having that confidence in what you're putting out. So, as a solution, we have a free level, right? So you can come in, start for free, try the system, feel it, see how it works for you. And then from there, you can start to upgrade. And we've got pricing tiers based on how large your organization is. So it's very cost effective for smaller organizations, and still very cost effective for the large ones.
So. I want to talk to you about your philanthropic activities here in the free version. So again, CloudRadial is, I believe, in the free version, correct?
You are today. You are available in the free version. We wanted to be able to make sure that people can come on, experience that, and grow up from there. I think, as the integration continues to expand and we get feedback from these partners that are using that integration, that's where it can start to become, a lot more in depth, and we'll move people up from there.
Okay. So today, if say you're on ConnectWise and CloudRadial, and you want to reconcile Office 365 information, you want to make sure you've got that in your agreements.
Yeah.
Is there a cost for that with Gradient today?
No, there's no cost for that today. So you can come in, get signed up, whether you want to send us an email, book a demo, see it, or just hop on the website and sign up and get started with it. It's that easy. We've got automated wizards and stepper guides and how-to and everything else. But yeah, we kind of took that approach. Again, coming from an MSP, you get just hammered with calls and emails and, pay to play type stuff, and then money back guarantee or hyper commits at times. And we just wanted it to be an easy method of getting people in, not having a time bound trial, have the ability to come in at your own, convenience and when works best for you, to look at it without that pressure and push and everything else, knowing that our team's there to help you and usher you along. And as you start to use more of it, you've got the ability to upgrade.
Okay, so just to be sure I'm clear, if you want to reconcile 365 license today using the data from CloudRadial, now CloudRadial is a paid product, right? Just want to be real clear about that, right? Because otherwise Dave's gonna like yell at me. But we are a paid product. But if you want to basically take CloudRadial and make it more useful to yourself, you can start with Gradient for free today.
Yeah.
And there's no obligation necessarily to buy something down the road either, unless you want something down the road, right? So I just want to be sure that this is clear to the attendees. CloudRadial is free for CloudRadial users if you want to help solve this problem, right?
Yeah, for that first integration. Yep.
Also, the VP of sales has to chime in here. Notice these dudes are talking about today, because I am trying to make it cost money. I'm a revenue guy. I see that there's value here for MSPs, and value to me comes with dollar signs. So we're not saying that we're gonna charge for this in the future. I'm just saying strike while the iron's hot. It's free today.
I'm here. Wait. I just muted Dave. So,
so it's free to start now. I mean, as the CloudRadial integration expands, we would always give a grace period of time or whatever, but as that integration expands and handles more solutions and everything else, much like how we started with LionGuard, where we did a couple quick things, and then as that expanded out to managing a whole bunch of different products and solutions and everything else, then it moved into a paid tier. But you know, for the value that you get back on that, it's massive. So yeah, come on in and give it a try. And Dave's still muted. He's not pulling his hair out yet.
No, I'll let him back in.
He unmuted me, and then I said, no, fine, you can mute me. If you guys want to give all this value to all these amazing MSPs that I love for free, that's fine. It's just in conflict with my revenue brain that's like cha-ching, cha-ching. So strike while the iron's hot, everybody. Take advantage of this now. If you're not a partner of CloudRadial's, look in the chat. You can book a demo right now. If you are a partner of CloudRadial's, and if you have questions on CloudRadial, book an appointment with Jared. If you have questions on Gradient, go to Gradient, book an appointment with them.
Yeah, because one of the things that's interesting, and I do appreciate this about Colin and the Gradient team, and is again, the idea of making a difference in the industry, right? I mean, we all know that, again, as an MSP, you're getting called every day for revenue, right? Again, I always look at it as a lot of the calls are there to like solve their problem, right? Which is, and we probably guilty of that sometimes too, but our problem is we need revenue. Yeah. Your problem is not that we need revenue, right? And so what we have to do and what we focus on every single day, and this is one of the things I really appreciated about Colin and his team, is the idea of creating value in the channel, right? Not just getting your hand in the spigot of money, but creating real value in the channel. And something that we preach, probably a little too much, but it's something that we preach all the time, because again, it's the way MSPs can differentiate themselves from their competition as well. Again, if you're in there with your clients trying to create real value for them, everything's just better, right? And again, we can be focused, we can let the revenue brains dominate every single conversation, which has its place, right? But at the same time too, value drives revenue. Revenue very seldom drives value, right? And so I think that's a really strong endorsement of what Colin's doing, what he's trying to solve. And again, with his philanthropic approach to business, again, I have to say that this is too easy not to jump on that demo with Gradient. So
yeah, I mean, we expect at some point the revenue will come in, but it's do well by doing good for us and give people the opportunity to try, feel, experience, and see value, and then decide that they want to start paying for additional value. So yeah, I dropped a link in the chat here. If you just want to hop in, give it a test drive, you know, pop up. It takes, you know, 2 to 5 minutes, depending on the size of your PSA instance, to get it hooked up, set up. And then, you know, the CloudRadial setup is super easy too. And I know you shared that link earlier for the how-to and the quick setup there, but yeah, give it a shot, see how it links up, and you know, save yourself a whole lot of time. In the next 3 weeks, it looks like we'll be billing time again.
So we've got a couple of questions were about whether or not, if you missed the webinar or came late, clearly we'll send the link out to the video afterwards. We'll be sure and put it on our YouTube channel, so that video will be available in perpetuity, out on the internet forever, right? As YouTube probably allows us. And then Gradient and CloudRadial, there's not necessarily a dependency. Obviously, Gradient has a lot of clients before we came along. We have a lot of clients before Gradient came along. I just termed this as one of our better together integrations. So, and again, this is one of those things where, again, with their price point, and with the fact that it really is pretty painless to hook up on our end and on Gradient's end. Again, we think we've taken a lot of friction out of this process. And again, like anything else we've ever done, one good deed begets more deeds. And so we're now, our feature requests are already filling up for what comes next between CloudRadial and Gradient and things that we can help solve. For some reason, even though we always know there's going to be 2 requests for every one thing we fulfill, we still keep fulfilling stuff. So, but again, please keep letting us know how we can make that better. And Colin, do you have any final words other than free, sign up today?
Yeah, it's free. I mean, get the information. If you're not ready to jump in a demo or jump in and sign up yet, I mean, flip us an email at howdy@meetgradient.com. It's automatically going to reply back to you with a whole bunch of information, specs, so, all this stuff that you might want to know to help inform your decision moving forward. But yeah, it's super awesome to have the partnership with CloudRadial. Looking forward to that expanding. Looking forward to the feedback of everybody on the webinar today of how we can make it better, how we can make it more effective for them, and keep seeding more value out into the industry.
Okay, well, Colin, I appreciate it. Dave, thanks for all your help today. We'll just leave you muted in case you're going to talk about revenue again. But again, I appreciate everybody's time today at the webinar. Thanks for listening in, and stay tuned. We've got a killer webinar coming up next week as well on websites that you don't want to miss. All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.